what I actually wanted to get into here was I see a lot of Sean Payton, and I see a lot of people in the comments. They always, you know, always talking Sean Payton, and I obviously think Sean Payton would be a very, very good coaching hire, right? If the Chargers did make the playoffs and they did clean house, got rid of Staley, Lombardi, all that stuff, I do think Sean Payton would be a very, very good coaching hire. He's obviously experienced, right? That's something that the Chargers have not really had, right, in the past. What's it been? 12 to 14 years at coach, they haven't really had that experience at head coach, right? So obviously, I think he would be a very, very good coaching hire. He's obviously a Super Bowl champion too, right? That is something that follows him around wherever he goes, right? When he gets announced on Fox in the mornings, when he's on the shows, he gets announced as Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning head coach, right? So that follows him around as well too, right? And obviously, it's well earned, right? He deserved it. That's what he did. He won a Super Bowl there in New Orleans, and that's what he gets credit for. And I'm 100% for that, right? He is a Super Bowl winning coach. But just me personally, my personal opinion, right? Sean Payton would be on my list, right? If we fired Brandon Staley, if we got rid of him, he would be on my list. I'm not saying that he would, but the person that I would call first, the person who I would give a call to first before I even call Sean Payton, I'm putting feelers out there for Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, head coach, Michigan Wolverines. That's who I'm putting fillers out there for first right now. And I think right now is it's absolutely the absolute perfect time to bring on a coach like Jim Harbaugh. It really, really is. And again, I love Sean Payton. I love Sean Payton. I love how innovative he is as offensive coach. I love how he was able to get a lot. He was able to get a lot out of, the players that he had in New Orleans, right? And some years, they didn't have too much, but their offensive system was, so crisp and it was so advanced that it allowed them to get a lot out of players who, historically were not all that great, right? You look at some of the guys who, like a Tommy Lee Lewis, right? I don't even think he's in the league anymore, but he was having a pretty damn good year with the Saints a couple years ago. Number 16, the slot receiver, I cannot remember his name. I think it was Lance something. He had a really, really good career with the Saints. I cannot remember his last name. I know his first name was Lance. He had a really good, really, really good career, right? I don't think he played anywhere else. If he did play anywhere else, he didn't make any noise, right? You look at a guy like Marcus Colson. I think he was a 7th round draft pick. He had a damn good career, right? He won a Super Bowl. He was their ex receiver. He had a really, really good career. I don't think he would have had that impact anywhere else as a 7th round pick. And there's just been a bunch of other guys, right? You look at a Taysom Hill, the way that Sean Payton was able to use Taysom Hill. Um, you know, Obviously, he got the most out of him when he was cut a couple times in training other teams training camps. He got a lot out of these guys, but I would call Jim Harbaugh, Lance Moore. Lance Moore, thank you, George. Lance Moore is the guy that I'm talking about. Yes, I will call Jim Harbaugh first though, because I don't know if anybody here watches college football or if you're just a casual watcher or whatever. I watch it every Saturday. Love it. I love it. Jim Harbaugh has what the Chargers need right now in a head coach, because everywhere Jim Harbaugh goes, a power running game follows him, and this is what the Chargers need right now. We know what Justin Herbert can do. We've seen him these 3 years. We've seen the throws. We've seen all of the magic that he's able to create in the pocket, outside of the pocket. We've seen the magic that he is able to create with his arm. What the Chargers need right now, though, is a power run game. And that's what you need. That is the biggest supporter. That would be the biggest supporter of Justin Herbert. I think that would be a much bigger supporter than even a great defense, right? Even a great defense. Now, a great defense would be nice, but a power run game would allow the Chargers to do so much more offensively. It would just allow them to literally hold on to the ball with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, right? You see a drive like the Chargers had last night to tie the game up, right? Tie the game up. They leave a minute and 30 left for Mahomes, whatever. With the Jim Harbaugh power run game, that ball is not being given up to the Chiefs. They're going to continue running the ball. They're going to salt the clock. They're going to have fullbacks in there. They're going to go power. They're going to have tight ends, and they're going to run the ball down your throat. That is what the Chargers need right now. This entire thing about the Lombardi stuff and I like creative coaches. I think the Chargers do need a creative coach, but they can't they can't really fool around with this. They can't fool around with not having a run game. This is what they need. This is what the Chargers need so badly. They need a power running game. And if you're not going to have a power running game, again, the pressure is going to be on Justin Herbert, right? Just like it is now. You can have a creative coach. You can get a really, really creative coach. You can get a Sean Payton. You can get a, whatever offensive coordinator you want. But the pressure is still going to be squarely on Justin Herbert if the Chargers are not able to run the ball. They need a power running game. They need to be able to get out there, first down, run the ball, second down, run the ball, third and short, run the ball, right? They need to be able to take pressure off of Herbert. This will make him so much better in the play action game, which he's already really, really, really good at. This will make him great in the play action game. And this would obviously have Mike Williams, have Keenan Allen, have any other receiver you think of, they would have career years because they would be so open due to scheme, due to teams having to come up and bring a safety down in the box. They would have no choice. These guys would have one-on-one coverage that they could eat up. And we just seen just a little glimpse of Mike Williams that we seen. We missed him, right? We missed him. You seen that catch on the sidelines with the bad ankle. That was magic. That was magic. We seen Keenan Allen, right, on his 30 snap count or whatever. Magic. Magic. Those guys having one-on-one coverage the entire season with the power run game, third and short, you know what's going to happen. You know the fullback's going to get it. You know a running back's going to get it. Or, you know that Herbert's going to keep it in quarterback sneak just like he was doing last night. You need a power run game. This is going to be the biggest supporter of a young quarterback. You have to support him in the run game. Dropping back 45 times a game is not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. And I know Herbert is extremely talented. I know he has, some of the best, if not the best, arm talent in the league, but he has to be supported in a power run game. Not only that, but having a Jim Harbaugh would absolutely take the Chargers over the top when it comes to philosophy and when it comes to toughness. And I think that is something that this team is lacking. They're lacking toughness. They're lacking toughness in the trenches on both sides of the ball. You see flashes here and there, but when a team comes out and plays the Chargers, you know that you're not going to get punched in the mouth. You know you're going to be able to run the ball on them. You know that you're going to be able to do pretty much whatever you want to do with the Chargers, right? You're going to be able to run the ball 7-8 yards a carry easily. This is going to a power run game. An old school coach like Jim Harbaugh would bring that philosophy in. And that philosophy gets established in camp because when you have a power run game and you start it in camp, guess who goes up against that power run game? The defense every day. The defense, they go up against that power run game, right? They do inside run. They do all these drills at camp, right? They do goal line stuff. That develops calluses. It gets your team tough. That's why everywhere that Jim Harbaugh goes, his teams are tough. They're tough. That's one thing that you can say about him. They are tough. I know a lot of people don't like Harbaugh. He's quirky. He wears, the khaki pants and all of this type of stuff. They are tough. The Michigan Wolverines are tough. If you have not watched them play this year, they are tough. They run the ball. It's snowing. It's cold as shit out there. They run the football. And they run the football very, very, very well. And every other team that plays Michigan knows that they're going to run the football. And they're still able to do it. That's why they have not lost a game. That's why they're number 3 in the college football playoff rankings. They have a huge, huge game. And I think this is the very most opportune time for the Chargers to go out there and get a Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh put fillers out last year. He almost got the Vikings job last year. They did end up hiring Kevin O'Connell, but he did put out fillers. He wants to go back to the NFL. He said that he has unfinished business there. Jim Harbaugh can be gotten. He can be gotten. If the price is right, Jim Harbaugh has history with the Chargers. He was a former San Diego Charger. If a lot of people don't know that, he was a Charger. He has history there. He knows the Spanos family. He can be had. He can be had. And this is a huge game coming up this weekend on Saturday. Michigan, Ohio State. This is the biggest rivalry in college football. I honestly think that Michigan is a good team, but I think Ohio State I think they're a little better. And I think Ohio State will end up beating Michigan. And if that happens, if Ohio State beats Michigan, Ohio State is number 2, Michigan is number 3. If Ohio State ends up beating Michigan, Michigan falls out of the college football playoff picture. And, the Michigan fans are very impatient. They think that they should be better than what they are. They don't appreciate Harbaugh. He knows that. So the chatter is going to be there. And I think he can be had. I definitely think he can be had. If the price is right, he can come out, obviously work with Justin Herbert. That would be a plus, right? He wouldn't have to worry about the quarterback position. That's what stops a lot of these great coaches from coming, from the college level to the NFL level, drafting a quarterback, right? You're taking a chance. Justin Herbert is an established star in this league. You don't have to worry about the quarterback position. So now you can go out, you can build whatever you need, right, to bring your power running game to LA, whatever you need to get, whatever coordinator you want. And remember, guys, Jim Harbaugh has history with Vic Fangio, right? We were talking about Vic Fangio. Jim Harbaugh has history with Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio was the coordinator for the Niners when the Niners were getting to Super Bowls and the NFC Championship games, and the Niners had the number 1 defense in the league. Vic Fangio was coordinating that, so he has history with Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is unemployed right now. It all works out. It can really, really work out. It just has to come from up top. The Chargers have to be better. They have to be committed to getting this team tougher around Justin Herbert. You have a star quarterback. Let's get tougher around it. That is who I think the Chargers should go out and get. Jim Harbaugh, I think he's there for the taking. Michigan loses to Ohio State. I will be rooting for Ohio State to beat them. I want Michigan to fall out, and I want Jim Harbaugh to start exploring his options because that Charger gig will be there. And again, Jim Harbaugh is a guy that solves a lot of issues for the Chargers, right? We're always talking about the Chargers don't get experienced coaches. Experienced coach, right? One play away from winning the Super Bowl against his brother a couple of years ago. Experience at the college level and power run game everywhere he goes. He solves a lot of issues. He checks a lot of boxes for the Chargers. Now, his personality, people don't like it. I don't really care. Personality to me, whatever, it really doesn't matter. All I know is that Jim Harbaugh checks a lot of boxes for the Chargers.